Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And on Friday night, my sponsor Craig International will be in attendance at the Aberdeen and Grampian Chamber of Commerce Northern Star Business Awards. As well as being shortlisted for the Family Business of the Year, they've also been nominated for Business of the Year. Guys, bring it home. Good luck. It's Aberdeen against Celtic on Saturday afternoon at Hampden Park. It's a Scottish Cup semi-final. Kick-off in Glasgow is at 12:30. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg AB TV this Thursday night. I hope you're doing all just fine. So I thought what we'd do is basically begin counting down to kick off to the big game on Saturday tonight. We'll also be back with another show tomorrow. So tonight, I just thought what we would do is just continue our reaction to the appointment of Jimmy Tilleen. We've still got a couple of bits and pieces to take care of there. And obviously start building towards Saturday's big game. Tomorrow's show is concentrating more on that game. So we'll have the normal match stats, team prediction, all that sort of stuff. But tonight, we'll just concentrate a little bit more on Jimmy Tilleen. A little bit later, we're going to be hearing from Gothenburg legend John McMaster. We talk about the appointment of Jimmy Tilleen. We talk about his favourite semi-finals, be it Scottish Cup or whatever the case may be, and just about how he thinks Saturday will go. So look out for John McMaster a little bit later. So I'm very much looking for your input, as always, on the show. Come and get involved. If you're watching for the very first time, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. I really hope you enjoy it. You know, we've really started building quite purposely in the past few months, and I can really start to see the growth, and that's down to you guys. It's going really, really well, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. So I really want you to get involved. If you do want to get involved and you want to comment, I only ask one thing of you. I just want you to be respectful to those who also comment, to your fellow fans, and I don't want any bad language, and I certainly don't want you to go back to people and be abusive, because we just don't accept that here on ABTV. What I'm trying to do is build a safe haven for fans to come and have their say. That's what I want. It's working, and I'm very, very grateful for it, so I hope we can continue that. If you enjoyed tonight's show, do us a favour, press that old like button, and if you haven't subscribed, because we are 23 subscribers away from reaching another milestone, which is 3,500 subscribers. 23. So I dare you, if you haven't subscribed, give that button a wee click. I dare you. Do you know, so I was, right, now my camera sometimes freezes when I do stuff like this. I'm going to do it really slowly. Can you see that? Scottish Cup semi-final programme from April the 14th, 1990. Found it in my collection. Here's another one. Dundee United against Aberdeen at Dens Park on April the 9th, 1988. Another one against Dundee United. This was April the 13th, 1985. I still remember that game. And I've got that one as well. Aberdeen against Dundee. That game was also played at Tynecastle, the 14th of April, 1984. I'm really showing you my age. Been quite lucky to go to quite a few semi-finals. Also went to the I don't know what has happened to that programme actually, against Celtic when Peter Weir came on as a substitute and scored a late header. Do you remember that? The back stick. If I remember correctly, that was 1983. And that was that was the game, if I remember correctly, where Dougie Bell injured his ankle and couldn't make the Cup Winners' Cup. It was a bruising encounter against Celtic that day, if my memory serves me correct. So that's what I want to do tonight as well. Is just sort of reminisce about semi-finals. Just give us your own thoughts. You know, give us your recollections of days gone by. That's what we're looking to do. So obviously we saw the appointment of Jimmy Tilleen earlier in the week. Thank you so much for all of you who have watched the show. The viewing figures are absolutely superb. And I'm delighted that you enjoyed the show. I think it's all safe to say that we're all absolutely thrilled that he's on. I've not really seen many negative comments at all about his appointment. The only negativity is really when he's going to be joining us. So Peter Levine is obviously going to be in charge of the club from now to the end of the season. He's going to play a pivotal role in Jimmy's new management team. He's going to be a new assistant first team coach. Absolutely delighted for him. I think he thoroughly deserves it. So he gave his press conference earlier today. I guess what will happen is the team will probably travel down tomorrow. They might do a session tomorrow morning, then travel down, stay overnight. Listen, they're going to do that. 100% they're going to do that because it's an early kickoff. So I have no doubt they'll do a last sort of training session in the morning at Cormack Park, jump on the bus and head down the road in preparation. So this is what Peter had to say about the arrival of Jimmy Tillene. Tomorrow, I'll bring you more quotes about the actual game itself, but this is what he said about Jimmy Tillene. So he said, I had a brief chat with him on the phone last night, which was good. That was the first contact I had with him. I welcomed him to the club and said I was looking forward to working with him. I said we would be in regular contact between now and the end of the season. In terms of his role, he said, I am delighted with my role in the new setup. I've enjoyed every minute since I've been here. We've got a tough run to the end of the season, but I'm going to enjoy it. So on Saturday, obviously against Celtic, we're going for 5 unbeaten. We all know what to expect. We all know what's going to happen on Saturday in terms of how Celtic are going to set up. They're going to batter us. Let's be honest. I don't mean in terms of results. I mean in terms of just the way that they'll set themselves up. I've just got a feeling it's going to be back to the walls. That's what I think. But you just never know on these one-off occasions. And obviously we're going to be missing the skipper, so there's going to be changes to the team. Peter has said that Ruby is fit and will be considered for selection. Will he go straight in? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. I just sometimes wonder when you've been out for that long, what is it, 3 months he's been out for now, something like that? That sometimes I just wonder if you need some minutes under your belt, like proper match fitness under your belt. But you never know. He might get chucked in. And if he does, I think what will happen is he'll play alongside Angus MacDonald. That's what I think. So I think it'll be Jack one side, Angus and Ruby in the middle, and then Nicky obviously out on the right if he starts. If he doesn't start, then I expect Stefan to start. And then maybe Ruby will play his part later on in the game, depending how the result is going. So we've got plenty to look forward to tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll concentrate more on the actual game itself. Right, so before we get John on, let's start opening up the chat and see how you're all doing. Jeez, oh, hang on a second, eh? Should have done this before I came on air tonight. I tell you what I've done today. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm not really an Instagrammer, if that's what you call it, but I'm on there anyway. I went to watch Red Bull Salzburg train today. I went down there for a meeting and took the opportunity to take in the training. And what I found really interesting was that they do it in English. So they've only got 3 Austrian players in the first team. The rest are all made up from the African continent, from Europe. Really interesting. They've got a whole lot of players, mixture of languages. So I was really intrigued to see what they do. And a lot of the emphasis, because so to give you the backstory on it, this is why I found it so interesting. So even though they're top of the division, they sacked their manager last week. So, because they got knocked out the cup last week. I think they got beat last weekend in the league as well. So they sacked their manager. They brought in an interim coach before they start looking for what will be their new manager. So I was just intrigued to see what they do in training. Because I'm sure a lot of you know of this gegenpress, where you press high, this Red Bull football philosophy, which I've banged on about before. And it was very much in evidence when I was watching the training today. Everything was quick movement, one touch, moving the ball through the lines, players moving at specific moments, like being not static, but sort of on their toes, while the move is working, and then boom, going. And it was so fascinating to watch, and the way the coach was sort of coaching them through it, very hands on, so interesting. And it's the kind of football that I love, and I'm sure you do at home. High press, high intensity, getting through the lines quickly, not giving defenders time to think what's going to happen because the movement is so quick in the final third. And I think it's something that has been really lacking recently in our play. There's just no fast, intensive movement in the final third. It's all so slow and pedestrian and just a bit of a yawn fest, if I'm being honest. So when I'm sure you saw Jimmy's interview on Red TV and his philosophy of play, and I really hope he's able to introduce it to us, because I really think it will make a huge difference. I don't know if you caught the Alan Burrows interview as well. I'm not going to go through it all, but basically what he did was, again, it was a good chat. Quite enjoyed the chat. He spoke of the process to get Jimmy to the club, how Jimmy was keen to become the new manager all this time. He spoke of his winning mentality, as well as the Jimmy's personality and character and what we can expect, and as well as that, his skills to develop young players, which I think is going to be absolutely pivotal in his role going forward. So yeah, a really good couple of interviews over the past couple of days on the Aberdeen media side of things. Right, sorry, I've waffled on a bit there. Let's get you on. Good to see so many on as always. Right, let me take that to the top. Okay. Let me pause that. Okay, hi Baz Noble, how you doing? Talking about Alan Burrows' interview, I just don't see that many new faces arriving in the summer. I think they're more interested in Talene trying to develop what we already have. Yeah, you could be quite right, mate. He goes on to say, I do think we'll see a few new faces, but not as many as we clearly need to drastically improve the team. Pedros73 responded to that. Pedros, by the way, thank you for signing up to the membership scheme, mate. Very, very grateful to you. He says in response to that, I'm expecting 4 or 5 new ones and any replacements, which might be another 3 or 4. So we could be looking at 8 or 9 in total, but that's still quite a lot for a new window. Gavin Wilson. Gavin also signed up recently to the membership scheme. Thank you, mate. Get in touch with me so I can touch base. He says, hi guys, I've not heard the Alan Burrows interview, but I expect our Jimmy will have a fair idea of our squad and will add to it as he deems fit. Wingers and strong midfielders for me. Laura 101 said, as long as we have a couple of decent wingers for starters, I will be happier. Scotty Bludgett, mate, you're an absolute superstar. You've just literally signed up to the ABTV membership scheme, mate. Thank you so much. Just as a gentle reminder, and forgive me if I'm sort of going over old news here, the membership scheme is where you guys basically can support me in building this channel. It's a small financial commitment every month, and everything that I make from that, I continue to say it, and I will continue to bang that drum. Everything gets put back into ABTV going forward. So you will be seeing changes to the setup, content, how we do things very, very soon. And your contribution has very much played a pivotal role in me being able to do that. So thank you so much. Scotty, you're an absolute star. Richard Mickey McMillan says, absolutely 100% in terms of Gavin's comments. Scott W said, we've got a good, strong core in the squad. Yes, players will move on and be moved on, but the rebuild for Jimmy isn't as severe as it's been in previous years. Yeah, I take that, Scott. I'll get that. He goes on to say, it will be a massive help if we can hold on to Bojan and Duke for another season at least. Ooh, you must hear John McMaster's thoughts on Duke. Stuart Malcolm says, I have a sneaky feeling we're going to win on Saturday, 2-1, and we'll take Hearts 3-0 in the final. You heard it here first. Scotty Bludgett says, hello all, bring on Saturday, come on your Reds. John Dorward is here. Hi John, how you doing? Mate, drop us a line. Let me know if you're okay for after the show. He's wishing everyone a good evening. Bit more to get us going these days. Fraser Gunn says, greetings all. Remember to smash that like button for the stream. Thank you, Fraser. Thank you for the reminder. Alan Nicholas says, we can't give Celtic an early goal or we're in for a hiding. That's exactly what John McMaster said. Scott W came back to say, as far as Saturday goes, I heard yesterday that we've only sold around 9,000 tickets. Is that correct? Surely we've sold more than that. So believe it or not, I only asked that question to a friend of mine who works at the club. And look, it's not great. It's more than 9,000, but it's not great. The musical box is on. How are you doing? He's wishing everyone a good evening. Gordon Keith Ritchie is here saying, hi all, just get into the game, no fear, and have a go. Neil709 is saying good evening to everybody. Graham Clark is wishing everyone a good evening as well. Hope you're all doing good. Thoughts on Saturday? Tough game, I think, but nothing to lose. Let's have a right go at them. Malcolm Park says, hoping the new appointment feeds into the players' lifting performances. They have to now know the new manager will be watching and their futures are at stake. Also made me change mind and decide to go on Saturday. Well done, Malcolm. Steve Vang. Hi, Ali. Hope you're well. Doing just fine, thank you. Do you know how many tickets were sold for Saturday? So just answer that question, mate. It's over 10,000, but it's not great. The musical box says, you asked for no bad language. Being Scottish, that would render me mute. Just helps with the old algorithm. That's what it helps with, mate. Gary Gibson has said, hope the weather is nice on Saturday. By the way, you must have seen it here for the past few days. Dearie me. Last weekend, it was 28 degrees. I was out in the garden, shorts, t-shirt, loving it. Today, snow. Go figure. Scottish Man Cave has said, you will know me as SITV. You've changed your name. I hope the lads put on a performance that will impress Tulane and pump Celtic out of the cup. Malcolm Parker said, just a little message to you guys. Get the membership done too if you can. It all helps for better shows. Malcolm is also a member of the channel. Thank you, Mal. Really appreciate that, mate. David Scott has said, we so need a decent winger or two for next season. Hopefully Jimmy can bring in a few players that can make the difference. The musical box said, Ali, you're still a youngster, mate. 52 this year, fella. 52. But still very young at heart. Very much. Michael Taylor is here wishing everyone a good evening. Scottish Man Cave came back to say, why was Dundee United playing at Dens? Was Tannadice getting renovated? Absolutely no idea. Fraser Gunn has said, I've got a teelin that Saturday's going to be our day. Oh, dear. Honestly, some of the jokes have been absolutely shocking. John Dorwood has said, saw a couple of negative comments about Tulane on Facebook. Scrolled by. No need for that from some fans. Look, it's very simple. We're a fickle bunch. And you're not going to please everybody. You know, I used to have that philosophy when I was younger, wanting to always please everybody, and quickly discovered that you can't. It's impossible. You can't please everybody. What I learned very quickly was just do the very best that you can. Keep your head down. Keep your nose clean. Don't get involved in politics. Don't get involved in office games, mind games, all that sort of stuff. Just get on with your job. Do it to the best of your ability. You can't please everybody. It'll drive you mad. Derek Griffiths is here. Hi, Derek. Good evening, Ali. I don't know what it is, but I think we can win this game. Getting the new manager will give the lads a good boost. Neom709 says, I'm all set for our usual early start, but so worth it. Gordon Keith Ritchie said, John McMaster's great left peg would have won many caps for Scotland if it wasn't for the injury in the Liverpool European Cup. What a left peg that guy had. My God. You know, if you speak to any of his sort of former teammates, they'll all tell you that they probably would not have played with anybody better who was somebody who could ping a ball like John McMaster could. Do you know, it's the one thing that it's a memory of mine. Is just always John pinging the balls from one end of the pitch to the other. You know, changing it from one wing to the other. It's an abiding memory of mine. What a left foot that guy had. David Gall said, this one game I'm not going to be at. I'm going to be at the Speyside stages. Nice. We'll be keeping a close eye on the score, though. Oh, by the way, so if you can't get to the game, that just popped into my head. So on North Sound 1 on Saturday, we're doing a big Saturday football show special, a cup semi-final special. So I'm going to be watching the game from a base here in Germany and be reporting as things happen. Not commentating or anything like that. Can't do that because we don't have the rights. But I will be reporting as things happen. So if you are out and about and you want regular, very, very, very biased opinions, you know where to come to. Erica Mitchell is on saying, good evening, everybody. When Jimmy takes over as manager, can we sing Come On Taylene? We've got to get these remixed, don't we? We have to get them remixed. Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen. Somebody's got to remix that to Come On Tylene. Can't you do that with like AI these days? I'm sure you can. Michael Taylor says, really happy for Peter staying on for next season as part of the coaching staff. A very wise decision. Neilm709 is reminding everybody, Killy done it twice and we beat them easily. The cure is go for it head first. Absolutely, mate. Couldn't agree more. Right, I lost you there for a sec. Right, Graham Gibb has said it's pointless playing Ruby this Saturday. League game's more important. First game back after long-term injury, he would be hopelessly exposed by Hampden's big pitch. I fully concur with that. Again, Alan Smart says you can't play Ruby from the start on Saturday. He's not match fit and his timing will all be out. Too big a gamble. And of course, one badly timed tackle could result in a red card. Totally with you. The musical box has responded to the when I was talking about how Red Bull were doing their training today. So he says, the slow stuff is because our players want someone else to do things and don't take personal responsibility. Good point. Scott Barron's on. Hi, Scott. How you doing, fella? Talene has a hotline to Bojan trying to convince him to stay. Barry Cool is on. How you doing, Barry? Right, there's plenty more chat, which is great, so I'll save it. So, let me just click him in there. Right, let's get John McMaster on. So, I spoke to John earlier today from his home. I also was at home. So, we spoke about Jimmy Talene, we spoke about the Scottish Cup semi-final, and his own memories of playing in cup finals, be it Scottish Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, you name it, we spoke about it. So, welcome to the show, Gothenburg legend, John McMaster. Hi John, it's great to see you as always. Thank you for jumping on. Right, first of all, before we get into the Scottish Cup chat, I need to ask you for your reaction about Jimmy Talene. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's fresh to me as well as everybody else, the dandies as well. The only information I know about him is that he improves players, I believe. Going by a document or there was something on the Google I'd seen, and it's been taking too long to get somebody in the first place, Alistair. Hey, Ali.
Alistair, you sound like my parents.
I know. But I'm quite pleased that we've got somebody there because the young coach, Hingley, Stephen, he's done well. But this man that's in Sweden he improves people, I believe. And that's something I'm always into a wee bit. But we need a leader as well. So, he really needs to come over, and he's got his backroom staff there as well. So, depending on how long he gets, I think he could be okay, going by the sounds and what the feeling, what you see. But we thought the last three was okay. So that's a big time to get things sorted.
So how do you think Saturday's semi-final will go? What's your thoughts on it?
Depends on what we play. If we're going to go and get 10 at the back, we've not got a chance. But I think if we go and put a 4-3-3 formation in, two wide men dropping off when we're not on the ball, we have a wee chance because what's his name, McGrath, he scored 11 goals and Miovski scored 22, so there's goals there, and you don't know what head, if Duke is playing, you don't know what head he's going to have on, because he's been a disaster this year compared to what he done last year, Ali, and I think we've got the people that can get forward. and create. With Miovski, he can pull a goal out for anywhere,
Mm.
and he's sometimes always on his own, no support. If we're going in the first 20 minutes, hopefully we don't lose any daft goals, and then that's up to Celtic to try and break us down. But we've got to have someone up front, and we've got to have some support as well, depending on the midfield that he plays. I don't know if Shinnie can play
No,
because
he
he's
can't.
sending off.
Suspended.
He's a silly bugger, isn't he? He's a silly person. I was at the game last week and I was up doing some hospitality, and a leader like that to do things like that was reckless.
Mm.
And I think he's got to calm down
Yeah.
because he's vital to us with wee Connor Barron in there and young Clarkson. He's keeping them right, instead of teaching them things like that.
Yeah.
But I think we've got a chance, Ali, if we play the right way.
Okay.
The back four's really the boy. I'm glad McDonald's back in there, and he's made it a wee bit more stabilised.
Mm.
The back four is they've not been getting a lot away recently, but they've not been scoring a lot as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think we've got a wee chance because Celtic's just turned the corner and getting that result. Rangers drawing last night. Well, that'll be them. They'll be looking forward to want to play us on Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's a semi-final. It's a semi-final and it's a chance to win get into the Scottish Cup and put your name in history.
Mm.
So we've got to look at it that way
Yeah.
and not
Couldn't
look
agree
at it.
more.
This is Celtic.
Yeah.
Just go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I remember I was in a final and I froze. Come off the park and I said, I never played there.
Mm.
One with Billy McNeil against Rangers.
So did you use that experience to sort of prepare differently for the next semi-finals that you played in?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Aye. I
Yeah.
mean, I was in at half time and I was saying to Roland Arnold, I says, I'm not right. He says, I'm not het up. He says, go on in and run your wrist in the cold water and cool yourself down. I was like, I just couldn't go on the ball and make passes the way I was doing. And I just realised that it just froze and allowed people. It just went by me like that. And it
What
wasn't as if, on you go.
I was going to ask, what is your fondest semi-final that you played in? Do you have an abiding memory of one of the semis that you just thought that everything came together that day?
Well, if you call Easter Road a semi-final,
Okay.
that's my semi-final because that was my first winners' medal.
Yeah.
Beating them 5-0. That was a semi-final for me. But then, obviously, the first semi-final I was in was the final. The semi-finals was always difficult.
Mm.
I remember the League Cup semi-final against Morton. Neil Orr scored a goal. That was a goal. And we beat Morton 2-1. That was when Big Richie used to just take
Yeah.
the piss with us.
Yeah.
But the semi-finals, you don't remember a lot of them. You just want to get into the final. And we'd a bad habit of getting into finals. The best semi-final, and you'll love this, is Watershy.
Of course.
My God.
Yeah.
To go over there, and the only disappointment was Stuart's injury.
Yeah.
So the Watershy semi-final for anything, when you look at it, it's a European trophy,
Mm.
and you're up 5-0. What more do you want?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
lost. That was the first defeat over
Yeah, I
there.
know, I know. It's the only
Which
game I
was
missed. The only game that I missed at Pittodrie.
was it?
Yeah, we couldn't get tickets. My dad couldn't get
Wow,
tickets. I didn't speak to him for days, John.
near with that. You're not alone there.
I know. Fella, listen, thank you so much. It's lovely to see you as always.
I know. You keep in
Yeah,
touch with us.
I
Let us
will,
know how
mate.
you're
And,
going on,
and enjoy
pal.
your weekend.
You take care.
Thanks,
See you later,
John.
Ali.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Ta-da. Don't you just love him? Don't you just love him? Just before we get back to your comments, just a little personal thing. So I was due to have surgery next week after the condition that I suffered, this ulcerative colitis. But that's now been pushed back to June because unfortunately my doctors have still found traces of the colitis inside me, and there's still inflammation in parts of my body that need to be perfectly healthy for me to have the operation. So I've been told it's not going to be an issue. Just need to go through a course of treatment for me to hopefully get rid of the colitis once and for all, and for the inflammation to sort of go down. So my surgery's been pushed back to June. the good thing about that is that because it was something that slightly troubled me, that I was going to miss 2 or 3 weeks of doing shows at what is a pivotal time of the season. Thankfully, that won't happen now, so we're going to be going all the way through on ABTV. We're going to be planning lots and lots of shows during the split, and as I said, we're going to be introducing, hopefully, this new initiative, which will be coming very, very soon. Just still not quite over the line, but not far off. Plus also, the most important of all is that my son has got, little Lennox, has got a trial on the 25th of April, which was supposed to be the date of my surgery. And he's got a trial here in Germany to go to what is a very prestigious football camp where they get trained. And it's basically to set them on the path to being scouted by professional clubs. So, I was absolutely devastated when I first found out that I couldn't go to his trial, but now I can. So, look, I when I was ill and was going through my recovery period, many of you reached out to me to talk to me about ulcerative colitis. So if you want to continue reaching out, please do so. I was very humbled by it. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. So if I can be of any help to anybody, because I'm now sort of towards the latter stages of the disease, just get in touch and I'll do what I can. If I can help in any way, just get in touch. I hope you don't mind me just saying that. Right, okay. Let's get back to your thoughts. So many of you on tonight. It's really good. Thank you for all your comments. It's brilliant. The Musical Box said, Miofsky is under contract until 2026, so we can keep him if we want to. Dave B said, I agree, we have the core of a great team. In past years, we've constantly had to replace loan players, so at least we're starting from a great position. Barry Cooler said, 9,000 sold for the semi, but should we get to the final, they'll all want tickets. Of course they will. I got to be honest. It may be slightly controversial, but I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Joey Smith is not happy that people are saying we've got a great core. Scott W said, if we happen to reach the final, we can't expect a 50-50 split. If we reach the semi-final or even a final next season, we can't expect a 50-50 split. Do you know what? Yeah, I can see where you're going there, mate. Jonathan Livingston has said, Jimmy's youth development transfer model is akin to Ajax's Sporting Lisbon's. That is not a bad place to try to get to if we can achieve it. It's all about creating the next Lewis Ferguson's and reinvesting. Yeah. John Dorwood has said, seen a lot of Ghanaian players at Elfsborg. Good market to tap into. I think the African continent is the way to go, honestly. There are some unbelievable players and athletes on the African continent. My goodness. Barry Cooler said, more fans backing JT than any other name. Joey Smith has said, 9th in the league. Hopefully for once we get in a management team that will start afresh. I think they will, mate. Musical Boxer said, I'll be 67 this year and still feel like I did when I was 30. Good for you, mate. I like that. Good for you. John Grant is on. Hi, John. How you doing? If we can somehow get through this, I actually think it will be Hearts in the final. Many of you think that. Joey Smith has said McMaster, Kennedy, Rugby, Miller, McLeish, Bloomingheck, he says. Those were the days. Graham Findlater has said, this is a free hit, to be honest. I'm more focused on Motherwell and the St Johnstone games. Talina's a superb appointment, but he's going to need time. Maybe a slow progress, but in time, we will be unstoppable. Come on, you Reds. Sugarland has said, let's be upbeat. Watching the AFC videos tonight, we can do a turn. Our team plays better against good teams. David Gold has said, give Bojan a bumper contract to stay another season or two. Sugarland has said, this squad has struggled all season against the lesser teams as they have filled their squads with 6'6" players and brutalised the Scottish game. In Europe, we did good. Better teams equals better chance. He also said, the musical box said, we're due a shock win, and this may be our last chance this season for that shock. David Gall's just reminding everybody that Graham Shinnie, has the cup game suspension followed by the league suspension in the next game. Barry Cool is asking, is ulcerative colitis what Darren Fletcher had? Yes, he did, mate. Yeah. Scott W. has said he was right about Duke, but perhaps with a new manager, a new direction, we'll see the best of Duke again next season. Rick McBain is on. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Great seeing and listening to John. Love to hear more from him on a later show, Ali. I'll get him on. Don't worry. The musical box has said, Ali, it may be selfish, but I'm glad the surgery is pushed back until the close season. Me too, mate. Me too. Actually, funnily enough, I was with my doctor yesterday, and she said to me, she's a specialist in ulcerative colitis, and she said to me, I was a little bit worried that we were doing it so quickly after your last surgery, which is only 5 months. These things apparently take a year. So she said, I'm happy to push it back. So, yeah, it is what it is. Alan Smart said, I would suggest that for Saturday's game, we make Bojan captain. Do you know, that's also not a bad shout. Barry Cooler suggested that Angus MacDonald will be captain. David Gold has said Devlin will be the captain. Neil 709 says, was that a wee pitch for the loon, Ali? It most certainly was, fella. You saw right through me, right? Barry Cooler said the Swedish league is full of African players. The musical box said there are great African players, but you often need work permits for them. You do. Hewitt Super Sub said, I hope he brings Vinny back. Do you see that goal that he scored the other week? Vinny Bissauin. Oh. Ben Walker has said, just hope the players don't focus on the fact we haven't, that we're not going to be bringing many fans. Gavin Wilson makes a good point. He says, whatever happened to the African Alliance thing that we were going to get African players? I got to be honest, Gavin, I don't recall that at all. The only alliance I remember was with Atlanta, sorry. And that obviously didn't exactly bear fruit, did it? David Golder said, I said earlier in the season that our squad was more suited to the European games. Right, how long have we done? Oh, we've done nearly 40 minutes. Right, okay. So I think we'll call it a night because we'll have plenty more tomorrow. So tomorrow will be sort of more of a build-up to the actual game itself. So, you know, we'll get Peter Levine's thoughts on the actual game. You know, we'll try and predict the team. You know, we'll bring you all the match stats, all the normal stuff, the normal housekeeping stuff more than anything. So, look, I hope you've really enjoyed tonight's show. Thanks again for signing up to the membership scheme. Absolutely brilliant. Once again, you know, we're not far off 60 members, which is absolutely phenomenal. Ben Walker said, who is the ref for Saturday? I do know that. Right, hang on. I do know that. So, let me expand that, and I will get it for you, because I do know who it is. Where am I? So, let me find it. Where is he? There we go. There. Right, let me just click in there. Don't you just love it when it's live? See me doing all this nonsense. Right, so Don Robertson is the referee. On VAR is Greg Aiken. There you go. Right. Let's just see if there's any more comments on before we close off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. Right, guys, that's us all done. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for joining up to the membership. I will see you tomorrow night. Usual time, usual place, 7 o'clock UK time for a proper preview to the big game on Saturday. Stand free. Take care.